Data accuracy is an important concept, and this goes for the spatial data as well as the attribute data. So we have to be aware of errors that are inherent in the data and the fixes that are possible. In the process of exploring data accuracy and data quality in this task, you'll also learn how to map coordinate data from a text file, which in itself is an important skill. In this first task, you'll create a point layer of shipwrecks from a text file containing X and Y coordinates, and you'll then assess their accuracy. So here I have QGIS Desktop open, and I've got the Great Lakes shapefile layer loaded. So I'm going to click the Add Delimited Text File button. This is a tool that allows me to open a comma delimited text file that has X and Y coordinate values in it and generate a point layer from those X and Y coordinate values. So the first step is just browsing to the comma delimited text file. So I'll go into the data folder and identify the shipwrecks.csv file. Then I simply have to choose the X and Y coordinate values. QGIS will likely pick up on several other important settings automatically. The file format is CSV, the first record has field names, and it's going to be point coordinates. Once I've identified all of this, I can click OK. I get a message that the coordinate reference system was undefined, so it's defaulting to a geographic coordinate system. And I'm going to go in and style these so you can see them a little better. I'll give them a red fill, and I'll bump up the size a little bit, make them bigger. So we can see a couple points over here at the end of Lake Superior, but let's right click on the layer and choose Zoom to Layer to see if everything went well. And we can see that there's one record that ended up way down here, quite a ways away from its intended location. So to figure out what might be going on here, I'm going to open up the attribute table for shipwrecks and look at the values. We've got columns for the name of the wreck, the location, and then the X and Y coordinate values. So you can see here for the AC Adams, it appears that the X and the Y coordinate values are mixed up. The Y coordinate is in the X column and vice versa. So the key to mapping coordinate data well is to have a good set of coordinates to work from. This is likely just a data entry error, so it's usually useful to open up your comma delimited text file first and review the coordinates to make sure they look logical and consistent. These are in geographic coordinates. Another issue you may find with geographic coordinates is you're in the Western Hemisphere in North America. Longitudes should be negative, and oftentimes people will leave that negative off. So even catching little mistakes like that takes some experience, but definitely spend some time reviewing those coordinates before you map them. So I'm going to close this attribute table. Another note, in terms of the data that's created, this is just a rendering of those coordinate values in QGIS. In other words, this is not a shape file yet or another vector file format. It's simply showing you the point data. And within this QGIS project, it'll act as any other GIS layer. But if you wanted to actually have a shape file of these points, you would right-click on the layer and choose Save As and choose Shapefile or whatever file format you wished. For now, I'm going to delete this from the project, and I'm going to bring up the CSV file in a program called Notepad++ and edit it. You can use any text editor to edit these CSV files. You could use Notepad or even a spreadsheet program such as OpenOffice Calc, Microsoft Excel, etc. Notepad++ is a really nice open source text editor. So I'm just simply going to edit the incorrect coordinates, save the file, and remap the points. So here's the AC Adams, and I can see the conflated coordinates. So I'm going to just copy the longitude, cut that value, and paste it into the correct column. Grab the latitude, cut that value, and paste that into the correct column. Save my edits. And then I'm going to go back to QGIS Desktop, click on the Add Delimited Text Layer button, browse to my corrected data, specify the X and Y columns, and click OK. I'll still get this warning. This is fine. It's actually defaulting to the correct coordinate system in this case. And if I zoom to the layer, I can see now all of the points are on Lake Superior where they belong. So one must always be careful about data and not take their accuracy for granted. It's your responsibility to discover and fix these kinds of errors. You simply can't rely on the software to understand mistakes like these. In the next task, we'll take a closer look at metadata.